Welcome back to another episode of Let Love Be Your Guide. My name is your host, Dominique Chantel, and I will be guiding you through this amazing life experience. So, we are talking about being an intellectual, and I'm talking about women being wise. You know, I want to make sure that I am giving you all the information that you need to be prosperous, to make better decisions, to love on yourself more. And the one thing that I came across, I said, what if I did a series about being wise? What does it mean to be wise? And so, again, wisdom is just making decisions, right? Making better decisions from past experiences. And I truly believe that this is important in order for us to, number one, live a purpose filled life and to live a just fulfilled life. Okay. And so here are some things that I'm going to bring up to you. I have 4 points today, but I'm coming out of the book of Ruth. So I'm going to go back to biblical principles, things that I pulled out of the text. And so make sure you comment below. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like, share, and comment, and let me know what you want to hear more of. So this is going to actually be a series. So 4-part series that we're going through is called Sis, You Are Intellectual, Part 2. And again, I'm talking about what does it mean or what does it take to be a wise woman. And we're going to look at the book of Ruth and also the Proverbs 31 woman. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get um, into today's episode. So I want to read this passage of scripture in Ruth, the book of Ruth. And so if you haven't already read it, I want you to go back and read it because it's very insightful. And so I'm in Ruth, um, the first chapter, and in verse 16. Okay. And so just to give you a little backstory, Ruth is a Moabite woman, and she is actually the daughter-in-law to Naomi. Naomi had two sons. One of her sons, her sons and her husband passed away. And so the son, again, that Ruth was married to passed away. And Naomi ultimately tells her daughter in law, she said, hey, go back to your home country, go back to your home and be with your people because I'm not going to have any more sons. I don't have anything for you. But Ruth tells her, like, no, I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to go with you. And so we get into, again, Naomi is the mother-in-law of Ruth, and she sticks with her. And back then, it was not good for Moabite women to actually marry like is a Hebrew man. So that's who her husband was. He was a Hebrew. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into the text because I don't want to distort it. But if you haven't, again, that's just some of the backstory. Go back and read it for yourself. All right. It says, Baruch said, um, entreat me not to leave you or turn back from following after you. For wherever you go, I will go. And wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also. I have nothing but death parts you and me. And so again, she's essentially telling Naomi, I'm going where you going. Like, sis, I ain't leaving you. I'm here. I'm by your side. Like that was her ride or die, basically. Okay. And so just to put it in context, we all have that friend that's like ride or die. Like that's gonna be with you, girl. Where you go, I go. I'm going to be there with you through thick and thin, whatever it is you need. I have a friend like that. Two friends I can call up right now and be like, yo, where you at? Right. So this was again Ruth. And so again, she has a chapter. Go back and read it. So here are some things that I pulled out of that text that allow me to just be better in my own life and said, wow, she was really wise. And so if we're going to be intellectual, if we're going to be wise, right, we have to learn to be loyal, number one. Okay. So a lot of people have different versions of what it means to be loyal. For me, loyalty is like sticking there with someone who you can actually love them through their faults and their imperfections, if it's not directly hurting or um, hurting you. Okay, because there's such a thing as don't be loyal and don't be foolish, right? So I wouldn't say don't be loyal to someone. For me, I'm not gonna say be loyal to someone if they're beating you over the head, or be loyal to someone if they're verbally abusing you. Be loyal to someone if they're crushing your spirit, because there are some things again that need to be handled. But my thing is being loyal. Again, it's someone like being there, and you are able to love them through their imperfections, and it doesn't crush you, it doesn't hurt you at the end of the day. It's something that you can love them through, right? And so again, make sure that it's something that you can love them through. And you can, here's the thing, we can still wish somebody well and be done with it. And it doesn't cost you, like, it's not because you're not a loyal person. It's just that what they're dealing with, you can't process it and you can't endure because it's crushing you. And when it starts to crush you, when it starts to allow you to give up your peace and your values and what you've worked so hard to attain and have and what God has called you to, that's when you have to let somebody go. And so, another thing is, again, you have to have discernment. That's why we need to always be in prayer. Okay. So when I say loyal, I'm saying again, she was loyal in the sense that nothing in Naomi's life was crushing Ruth's spirit. Okay. So let's be clear. And so she was loyal to a fault. She said, where you go, I'll go. Your people will be my people, and so I'm going to stick with you through thick and thin. So you have to learn to be loyal. All right. Secondly, and this is something that really stuck out because I struggled with this for a long time, me being decisive. So Ruth made a decision to stick with Naomi. She didn't say, like, hey, girl, hey, sis, all right, today I'm gonna be with you, like I'm gonna go here, all is going well, so we good. And then the next day she wasn't like, hey, oh girl, you going through that, oh, I'm gonna go over here until you get through with that. But no, she was decisive. She made a decision to stick with Naomi, even though things, she knew that things were rough. Naomi was grieving, and so was Ruth. And so she decided to stick with her, and she decided to be her friend, to be a confidant to her. So she was decisive in that. And so I think, again, in the Christian faith, again, being a kingdom citizen, we have to be decisive. So we have to make a decision. It says God is not a God of confusion. He is not. And I feel like a lot of times what keeps us from making decisions is we go against, the Holy Spirit or our intuition or something that says, hey, don't do that. But it's like, but I have a better idea, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. But we can't do that, right? Because at the end of the day, if God gives you discernment for a situation, and he's like leading you to a certain path and leading you to a certain answer and leading you to a certain way, it's like, go that way, because you will save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of disaster. Right. And not just having a peace of mind, right? Because the older that you get, you should be experiencing, I feel like, peace on another level. We should be getting better with our decision making. We should be more decisive. We should be more discerning. We should be able to make better decisions. And so that's what I'm all about. Again, be decisive, make a decision, and go with that decision. Stick to it. Don't go back. Accept what comes with that decision. You have to be ready for, again, whatever comes with the decision that you make. I, again, recently, about a few months back, was trying to decide between, do I go here or do I go there? Um, and it was in terms of my living situation, so it was just kind of like, what made sense to me was the one that gave me the most peace and my goal that I was working toward. And so when I made a decision that said, okay, hey, I'm going to make this decision, and just be full transparency, is moving back in with my parents to save up money. And I was like, okay, I'm going to move back in with my parents to save up money because I'm trying to reach a goal. I want to buy a home for me and my children. I want to be better off than I was. I want to have wealth, generational wealth, and be able to pass it down to my kids. And so when it came time to make a decision, I was like, hey, this is the decision that I'm making. I'm going with it. Okay. And don't get me wrong now, it was rough. It was rough, y'all. But at the end of the day, I'm so thankful and so grateful that I did. Okay. So be decisive. Okay. Next, in Ruth's story, she had faith. And so um faith is just simply, you know, complete trust or confidence in someone. And for me, the faith who I have in, the only faith, the person that I have faith in, of course, is God. And you should be having faith in Him as well. So, but she had faith in Naomi's God, that because she made this decision to be loyal to Naomi, she made a decision to be, her confidant, to be her friend, to stick through thick and thin. You know, she had faith that everything was going to work out, and that's how we have to be, in our dealings. That's how we have to be when we make a decision. We have to know that everything was going to work out. Ruth had faith. She actually left her country, her people, who were, again, they were praising gods, who they weren't praising um the king of Israel. They weren't praising God. They were praising, other gods. And so Naomi felt something and was drawn to this God of Israel. And so I think, to be honest, that's what led her to grow so attached to Ruth, because she said, I see, how your people operate. I see how your sons and your husband, how they were. And it's something that I'm attracted to. That I'm attracted to the way your people do things. And so in the end, she had faith that, again, everything was going to work out. And I see how God takes care of you. I see how God has provided for you. The God of Israel has provided for you. And so I want to be a part of that. And so she had faith in Naomi's God. She had faith in God. And again, I just think that she knew that if her following Naomi, that was going to bless her. That was going to be a blessing to her life. And again, we have to continually have faith, in God, that He's going to provide, that He's going to see it through, that He's not going to leave you, that He's going to protect you, He's going to keep you, He's going to give you a peace of mind, He's going to give you shelter, He's going to rescue you. He'll put people in your life to direct you, to lead you, to guide you. He has sent us the Holy Spirit, who guides you and leads you every day. And so, just the trusting and the knowing that everything will work out, that's a beautiful thing. And so that's where I live my life from. It hasn't always been easy, and I haven't always done it, but when I live my life in faith, there is a complete trust in God to say, this is happening, Lord, I know that you are going to work this out for my good. Or whatever is not happening, I know you're going to work it out for my good. Because, what I think, my humanly mind, I'm thinking it's going to work out one way. God, you might just shift that thing and turn around and flip it and make it work it out another way. And the thing is, I've seen God do it. I have seen just things happen like, wow, that's pretty amazing. I didn't know you was gonna do that like that, Lord. So it's like we have to have complete faith in him and trust in him no matter what. And I know it's hard sometimes, but we got to do it. So again, Ruth had faith, and I encourage you, if you don't have faith in God, that everything's going to work out for you good. Your situation, it will. Okay. And so last but not least for today, oops, wrong one. So last but not least, um, there was a harvest. So Ruth and Naomi went back to Bethlehem for the harvest. And Ruth had asked Naomi, she said, "Hey, I see a field that I want to go glean in. Can you allow me? Can I go glean in this field?" And Naomi said, "Yes, you can." But there was, again, a harvest. And so I feel like because Ruth knew that there was harvest, she had hope. And so my last point is, because there was a harvest back in Bethlehem where they went back to, there was hope. And so Ruth had hope, and that inspired Naomi's hope. And so a harvest just simply means um, crop, you know, um, a season that something is brought forth, crop is brought forth. And so I want to say that she had hope, and hope is a feeling or expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. So in the back of my mind, I'm saying, like, Ruth knew something. Like, sis, Ruth had the tea, y'all. Okay. I feel like Ruth knew in her spirit, number one, she already had faith in Naomi's God. She already had faith in God. So she's like, I'm going to trust and believe that everything is going to work out for my good. But because there's a harvest back in Bethlehem, I know that as long as there's a harvest, there's hope for something to happen. And I want to tell you that as long as there is something, a dream down on the inside of you, as long as there is, again, everybody has purpose. You have to just find it, right? Discover it. God put it down on the inside of you. You have to find what it is. But as long as there is purpose down on the inside of you, and there is purpose in you, a matter of fact, um, you have to have hope. And so, with that being said, Ruth had hope, and she went and gleaned in the field, and ultimately we'll find out how that story ends. But I'm going to talk about that next week, about what a wise woman, the characteristics, more characteristics of a wise woman, but what she did in the field of Boaz. If some of you know the story, I will continue it next week. But again, as long as there is purpose on the inside of you, there is hope. There is hope to change your situation around. There is hope for God to show up and show out. There is hope for him to get you together. There is hope for you to live that God-given dream, that talent that you have, that gift that you have is not meant to stay inside of you. It's meant to be shared with the world. God put that thing on the inside of you so that you can bless it. Bless us with your gift, with your talents. So my word to you today is, what is your hope in? Where's the hope? Where's your harvest? The harvest, there is a harvest on the inside of you. And you have to uncover it. You have to discover it, because there is purpose on the inside of everybody. Every single human being that God created, there is purpose on the inside of you. And so you have to find that. And again, this is the channel where I'm pulling it out of you. This series, we're on the wise woman, but we're going to be going into the next series. I think I'm going to talk about purpose chasers. It's going to be the next one. And so I want you to be the best version of yourself, if that's what you want to call it. Or for me, it's being the most authentic you. How can we use those pieces that you think disqualifies you to be the best version of you, or to be your most authentic self? Because that's what this life is about. Let me tell you a story. You know, it was so hard for me growing up in the church to be comfortable. It took me a long time to be comfortable with my sexuality. And when I say sexuality, I'm talking about it is still possible, again, for you to live a godly life, a purpose-driven life, and still be sexy. And um, sexy in terms of your body can look well, your mind be well, um, just everything about you be well. That's what I actually define as sexiness: when your mind is well, when your heart is well, and when your body is well. That's sexy to me, right? And I recently asked another friend about what sexy meant to them, but we all have our different versions of what sexy is. But for me, that's it. And so your mind well, body well, and your heart is well. That's sexy. And so for me, my body, I thought sexiness just had to deal with the way your body looked, but no, it's so much more than that. And I had to embrace all of me. And that is how, again, I came to love myself, and how I came to embrace all of me, the way my body looked. Again, when I had children, when I didn't have children, when I was in shape, when I was out of shape, you know, again, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but basically, that's what this channel was created for. Letting love be your guide, number one, so you can love yourself. And I'm giving you biblical principles, ways that you can love yourself, and how you can be the best version of yourself. And again, that's what this series was birthed off of. And I'm using biblical principles, okay? So if this is for you, great. Share it with someone else who you know needs to hear this. Um, you know, I thank you, and I thank God for you coming back every week to hear me, to listen, to get the points. Again, go ahead and log on to Dominique Chantel and subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to the Instagram, subscribe to Facebook, so that you will not, and Buzzsprout, so that you will not miss another video. Again, we're in this thing together, and we're talking about the Wise Woman series, characteristics of wise women. You don't want to miss the next few weeks, all right? And then you don't want to miss next month. We'll talk about purpose chasing, all right? Chasing your purpose. I love you guys, and may you always, always, always let love be your guide in life, today, forever, and always. Bye, y'all.